Serial and batch numbers are inventory tracking dimensions and can only be allocated to items where the tracking dimension group allows for it. When the dimension values serial number and/or batch number are activated, you must specify them when picking unless the blank Issue Allowed checkbox is selected for the dimension. When the blank Issue Allowed checkbox is selected, it prevents the specification of the dimension when the physical issues are updated. If the Activate in Sales checkbox is selected for the tracking dimension group, which is used on the item, you can capture the serial number in the Capture Serial Number form to register the serial numbers for the sales order. For more information about how to do this, you can refer to the Supply Chain Foundation course. For this lesson, I will focus on using the pick form on the sales order to register the serial number. Let's open AX and take a look at the process. I'll create a new sales order underneath Sales and Marketing, Common, and then All Sales Orders. I'll create a new sales order, and then I'll select the customer. I'll click OK to generate the order. And then I'll add an item to the order that is serial number controlled. I'll enter the quantity into the quantity field, verify the site, warehouse, and unit price information. I'll go ahead and save this line, and then we can go ahead and perform the pick. Typically, you would confirm this order and another worker would use this function to perform the actual pick. So, to do this, I'll use the Update Line button and then select Pick in the process group. This will open up the pick form. Here, you can see the information of the items to be picked. If you expand the sales order number field, you can see the sales order number that we're working with, and then in the batch and serial number field, you can see the batches and serial numbers. For this particular example, the batch and serial numbers have already been allocated because the item that we are using is set up for automatic allocation of the batch and serial numbers. If this step was not completed, you would first need to register the batch and serial numbers. So, what I'll do is on the bottom half of the form, I'll use the Add button to add the picking list updates that I want to perform. I'll click Add and select the item number. I'll enter the site and warehouse information, select the batch number that we are using. You can see that batch number up here. And then select the serial number. The picked quantity is where I can manually type in the quantity to be picked. In this particular example, I manually added the picking list update. Alternatively, you can use the Add Picking List Update in the upper portion of the form to perform the pick. You'll see that the status has been updated to Added. I'll go ahead and select the rest of these lines and then use the Add Picking List Update button. You can see that they have now been added to the lower portion of the form. When you're ready, you can go ahead and post the picking list. For this first line that I added manually, you'll want to make sure that it's for the correct sales order. I'm going to quickly remove this and click Yes, and then re-highlight that line from the top half of the form and add them again. Now you can see the sales order was populated correctly. When you're ready, you can go ahead and click the Register All button. Now that you click the Register All button, you can see that the issue status has been updated to Pick on the top portion of the form, and the first column for the picking status has changed to the green check mark. This indicates that we have successfully picked these items. You can verify this by going back to the sales order line and then click Inventory and Transactions. Here, you can see all of the transactions that are created for that sales order line, and their status is picked. Each line has the quantity. If you wanted to view the serial numbers or batch numbers from this screen, you can use the Inventory Dimension Display option to add them. Now that we have created a manual one-step pick, let's take a look at the picking workbench.